Okay. Let me know when you're ready, Aaron.
We're good. You can go.
Okay. Will the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Wednesday, October 21st, please come to order? If anybody is here for the public hearing for Mark Knapp, please be advised that that's been withdrawn. Also, the other public hearing item, which was for Mark Pender, 67 Golden Hill Road, it will be tabled to November 4th. That being said, I don't then need to read the long and extensive introduction. Will the secretary read the call of the meeting as published according to Governor Lamont's Executive Order 7B?
I'm not sure. Do you want the legal notice read since we're not doing a public?
We don't have to do that?
Nope.
Okay,
So,
great. Decisions of this meeting are available the day after the meeting by calling the Planning and Zoning Department at 203-453-8039 or emailing planning.zoning@ci.guilford.ct.us after 9 a.m. The one action we'll have this evening is a site plan, and we'll do a roll call vote on that. Seated this evening are the following members: Jamie Stein, Alan Brown, Richard Wallace, Francesco D'Andrea, Bill Freeman, Scott Edmonds, Sean Cosgrove, and I'm Phil Johnson. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Our town staff present are George Kroll, the town planner, and Aaron Mannix, our zoning enforcement officer. Lisa Piombino is not present. She's not feeling well. We wish her the best. This meeting will be recorded via the Zoom platform and made available on the town website for viewing. As we do not have to read a legal notice because we're not doing a public hearing, we'll just jump straight to it. And the Town of Guilford Park and Rec Commission, 1350 Durham Road, map 97, lot 1D, zone R5, site plan application for construction of pickleball courts. You are on.
All right, I'm going to introduce it, and Mike Ott will give you some of the details. And thank you for being willing to hear this again. You already approved this at Adams. And we know that the full planning and zoning was not in agreement, with it Adams because of mostly, I think, proximity of neighbors and noise. And Mike will better explain the issues. There were issues with the soil there, and Mike can explain that. So at the time, I was asked about Bittner as a possibility, and I told you that I didn't think it was because of ledge and grading and costs. And I'll fully admit I was wrong. It turned out that is a possibility. I think it turns out to be a good option. Again, Mike will give you more of the details on that. So our current plan is to build 4 standalone pickleball courts at Bittner Park, just north of the skate park, kind of adjacent to it. They'll be standalone. We have 2 courts that are already there as part of the basketball court, so it would give us a total of 6 courts there. Just to remind you, we have about 120 seniors that are playing very actively, and I think it's growing. So the plan is to go with the post-tension concrete at Bittner, and we'll still continue to go with the plan to reconstruct the Adams tennis courts, which you've already approved, but instead of post-tension concrete, we've got to go with asphalt there. And again, Mike can explain the reason for that with soil issues. So with that, if you're okay, I'll have Mike kind of go through it, and if you have any questions, then we can address those after, if that works for you guys.
That's terrific. Thank you. Let me unmute Mike.
there you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. For the record, I'm Mike Ott. I'm a professional engineer and land surveyor with Summerhill Civil Engineers in Madison. I think this is our first presentation, I think, of this. Is that right, Rick? To your commission?
Yes.
First presentation on pickleball at Bittner, yes.
Yeah. So Rick mentioned we had in our geotechnical investigation, we learned that a lot of the Adams School site is historically filled wetlands. And in the area where we were going to build the pickleball courts, there was at least a 6-foot thick layer of organic soils there over most of the area. So we, after consultation with a structural engineer and a geotechnical engineer, we made the determination that we can't add the the weight of a post-tension concrete court to that area without potential settlement and therefore problems with the courts in the future. So that's why we went back and took a second look at Bittner. Can I share my screen, Aaron, or are you gonna?
I do have the plans, Mike. I was thinking, what sheet do you want? You want 5?
Yeah, the general plan, I guess it's called, I think.
Yep, okay, I got it. I can zoom in here on this. Can you see that?
Yep.
Is that
So,
small?
as Rick said, I'm sure you're all familiar with the site, but there's a rather large post-tension concrete slab up there now that the skate park and a basketball court are on. And the basketball court is at the northern end of the slab, and Aaron's kind of tracing that now. So we plan to build the new pickleball court essentially right up at the north end of that big slab, or the end of the north end of the basketball court. The pickleball court is 115 feet in width, left to right, kind of on the page, and 64 feet north and south, up and down on the page as Aaron's tracing. And it fits the ground pretty well, except for, with the exception of the upper right corner where you see that shading. We have to create a fill slope. There's a fill slope there today that's probably 8 feet plus high. That was created when the current courts went in, and we are essentially just pushing that fill slope to the north, and extending it to the north in order to get the room that we need to construct the court. The court construction involves modifying the existing chain link fencing that's around the basketball court today. It also involves slight modifications to the trails that are associated with the disc golf course. There at the northern end of the court also, there's just couple of the trails get intercepted by this fill slope, so we have to move them out a little bit. Rick and I have walked the site a number of times and taken a lot of measurements, and as you know, we now have approval from the Inland Wetlands Commission for the project also. The new court will be fenced, black in color, PVC coated chain link fencing. And there's really no other improvements. There's no lighting, no utility services. It's really just the new courts and the fencing and their gates that will go around the courts. The tree removal is pretty minimal. There's a lot of brush to remove, but there's very few trees of any size, 6 inches or even 4 inches or greater. There's very few trees that have to be removed. And when it's all said and done, the trail system will be back in place. And we also believe that we can construct this without interrupting the main trail, which is not shown on the drawing, but it's just to the right of the limits of construction. It'll be outside the sediment control barrier that Aaron's tracing. So people will be able to come up from the main parking lot and walk on the main trail safely without interruption. I think that's really it. And I'd be happy to answer any questions the commission might have.
Can I ask a quick question, Mike?
Sure.
So the way that you guys have the courts laid out, there are 4 courts that are side by side.
Yes.
Is there any special reason you've laid them out that way as opposed to having both of them rotated 90 degrees with a fence in between them? So instead of, all of them facing north, they would all face east, west. But then my thought is you're going to get a lot of spillover of balls going from court to court just because of the layout.
So, so this is a, Mr. Chairman, this is a typical layout. There's, there's, I don't know, we may have talked about this during the Adams application, but there are organizations regarding pickleball. There's a ball association, a national association. This is a typical multiple court battery layout. There's one just like this, although it's not 4, I believe it's 3 in Old Saybrook, that was constructed probably within the last year, I think, right on Main Street, right next to where the old police station used to be. So it's a pretty common layout. And the ball, Rick, I've never played, but I've watched a lot of games, and Rick can explain better than me. The ball is very different than a tennis ball. Some of you may play, but I'm told I've seen this, and I'm told by talking to people who play a lot that this kind of arrangement works, and that's why it's a standard layout.
I play a reasonable amount, so that's kind of my question in terms of, so they built a complex at Pine Orchard where it's kind of the other way, and then there's a fence in between. But I'm sure if you say that there's lots of them that are laid out like this, that's accurate, and I'm sure it'll work out.
Yeah, I think even Rick and I went to visit the indoor courts at was it Guilford Tennis we went
Guilford
to?
Racket, yes.
Yeah.
Guilford Racket, yeah. Yeah, we even looked at, they're laid out, if I recall, they're laid out similarly.
The way they do it is they put 2 on each side of the tennis net.
Yeah, yep.
So as opposed to having 4 in a row, side to side, so they can maintain the tennis court as well.
I have a couple questions. So it looks like you're proposing a fence to remain between the pickleball courts and the basketball court. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
And then it's going to have its own gate that's outside of the skate park / basketball court. Does that mean it's got its own walkway to get there?
Yeah, there's a if you've been up there anytime in the recent past, there's a paved walkway up there now.
Yep.
Yep. So there's a gate. There's actually it's hard to see, but there's a gate in the lower right corner also. There's a maintenance gate, a 10-foot wide. Yeah, there's a 10-foot wide gate right there also. And then there are person gates on the ends.
So people don't actually have to access the skate park / basketball court to get to this?
Correct, yes, that's correct. Yep.
And then I think just a more general question for Rick. Is there any plans for that? We're just continuing to add more and more activity in this area. And is there any plans for that parking lot? I go hiking there pretty often, and it's at times can get pretty full.
Yeah, we don't have current plans for it, but certainly there's more parking there than we had at Adams.
Right.
But there's also a lot more activity. To your point, this golf course is pretty popular. The skate park is used a lot.
Yeah, not necessarily to increase parking, but is there any plans to make it a little bit more apparent where people should be parking? Right now, it's a little bit of a free-for-all.
Well, we lined it. We can line it again. We lined it about a year ago, actually. It's that stuff is the reclaimed asphalt. That put down there. I don't think we have plans to pave it at this point, but the lines held up pretty well. They're pretty faded right now, but we can do it again. We did it, I believe, last September when we had the grand opening of a year ago, September, the grand opening of the disc golf course. We had a little tournament thing going on up there, and we my own guys did the lines. We can redo it. It does make it more organized. It has faded. We can hit it again, and it lasts for a pretty long time.
And then I suppose the walkway up, the slope is pretty steep, but I would assume there's not much that can be done about that either at this point.
I think that's something that we've talked about, and I've talked about with Janice a little bit, that maybe not necessarily associated with this particular project, but at some point trying to improve accessibility up there somehow on the site, and formalize some parking would be helpful, as there are now more events being held there, for at the disc golf draws, and then now potentially with the pickleball as well.
Well, and you're talking about a very large age range as well of participants now. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, though, there are pickleball courts there now on the basketball court. Mike can
Sure.
tell you, too, that every time he and I went up there, and I think, Aaron, I'm not sure the time you came up with this, but we went up there multiple times to measure out and look at things. And every time we went up there were groups of people playing pickleball on the basketball court. And, they're older, not old people, but they're senior citizens, and they get up there and they're pretty active, and, it hasn't been an issue for them.
sure.
Yeah. I think the striping was still visible when we met out there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, without the striping, it's a little hairy.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, we can touch that up, and definitely it's due to be done again.
I have a
Perfect.
question. Are there any benches on the site around the skate park, basketball court, and pickle courts?
There aren't. Good point. We get,
When you have a little toddler who likes to, ride a bike on the skate park, it's nice to have a place to sit.
well, we have a picnic table in there. We do. And yeah, I've seen people, parents sitting there with their kids are skateboarding or using those little razor scooter things. And we have that. But yeah, it would definitely make sense to get some benches in there. There are portable ones we can get. If
Yeah,
we
it'd
wanted to
be
put
nice
permanent
for-
ones, more and more we're getting, the Parks and Rec Commission is getting requests from people to, donate benches for different places. And we're kind of,
Yeah. put
and we're
yours
kind of
on
benched
there.
out at Jacobs Beach and some of the other places. So this will be another opportunity.
Good idea.
Perfect. Any other questions from commissioners?
Everybody okay with that?
We don't need to have a second meeting for this, do we, Aaron?
No, this is a
Site
site
plan.
plan.
Terrific. Well, I don't, maybe Sherry's here this isn't a public hearing, so we don't actually take
No.
comments from the public.
I do have some comments from Kevin McGee, environmental planner, if you want those to be shared
Terrific.
with the
If you
commission.
could,
I have that here.
Sure.
This is to Planning and Zoning Commission dated October 20th, 2020. From Kevin McGee, environmental planner. Town of Guilford, Pickleball Courts, 1350 Durham Road, Guilford, Connecticut, 06437, Assessors Map 97, Lot 1D. The town of Guilford is proposing to construct pickleball courts adjacent to the existing skate park and basketball courts. The applicant has completed the checklist to guide low impact development best management practices. The plans for this project have sedimentation and erosion control procedures that are in compliance with 273-97B subsection 6 of the zoning regulations. The Inland Wetlands Commission at its October 14, 2020 meeting approved a regulated activity for the construction of pickleball courts within 100 feet jurisdictional review zone with conditions. In order to make sure that the natural resources are protected, I recommend the following condition of approval. The Town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer shall be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to any site work. Soil stockpiles should be contained by silt fencing and/or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable material is installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer.
Rick and Mike, I assume you're okay with that condition?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Pretty easy one.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? We good? I think it's a great site.
Yep.
I think well, the proximity of the Adams closer to town might have been nice. I think this will cause less problems in the long run. So, Do we have a motion somewhere, Aaron?
We do. I emailed that out. I can screen share that with you as well.
Sean, you want to take it? Sean, where's Sean? Well, I'll grab it then. Proposed motion for pickleball voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application for the town of Guilford for construction of a pickleball court at 1350 Durham Road, map 97, lot 1D, as shown on Bittner Park Pickleball Courts. August 20th, 10 sheets prepared by Summerhill Civil Engineers. The application is approved with the following conditions. That was the sedimentation control conditions that Kevin McGee had referenced. Application is approved based on a finding that it conforms with the zoning code. Would someone like to second that?
Second, boss man.
Thank you very much. Any discussion, any questions? No? Very good. I'll call a vote. All in favor of approval, Jamie Stein,
Aye.
Alan Brown. Oh, Alan, give us a thumbs up.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Francesco DeAndrea.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Scott Edmonds.
Yes.
Thank you. Sean Cosgrove.
Aye.
I will also vote yes, and Bill is our alternate tonight, so he does not vote in that.
Thanks for coming, though.
Unanimous. Thanks for coming though. With a unanimous vote, the motion passes and your site plan is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So thanks for hearing a second time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. I think it's going to work out, and seniors will be very happy, and anyone else wants.
Other people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be a senior to play, right?
You don't. It's just a little easier. Would someone like to make a motion to table the application for Mark Pender, 67 Golden Hill Drive, to November 4th,
So
2020?
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yeah.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Francesco DeAndrea,
Yes.
Scott Inman,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
and I will also vote yes. Good, that is the other thing on our to-do. Do we
we
need to
want
receive
to
and set
see-
public hearings, Aaron?
There are three, Kevin Ginty for 324 3 Mile Course, Amy Goldfarb, 49 South Fair, and Chris Widmer, 227 State Street. Those are already scheduled
Okay.
for November 4th. We have one new receipt tonight, KS Development, 885 Nut Plains Road. This is also a special permit for an accessory apartment. And we would like you to set the public hearing for November 4th.
Very
So
good.
moved.
Second,
Second. Second.
thank you. Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Francesco DeAndrea,
Yes.
Scott Edwin,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove.
Yes.
I will also vote yes.
Just a minute. Oh, actually, I do have under other, I guess. We've had a situation in town where the health department has issued an abatement order for a public health nuisance, which is on a property that is located in an R5 zone. The resident of the dwelling is going to be living in a mobile home on the property, anticipated a couple of weeks, although I would recommend approval of 30 days while they clean and remediate the public health hazard in the home so that they can take occupancy back in the home. So our zoning regulations do allow for living in a mobile home or associated camper, trailer, that type, with the permission of the commission for up to 2 years, as to protect the identity of the individuals living in the home, as this is a health matter, I'm not going to disclose the location. I could say that it is an R5 zone and the mobile home would comply with accessory structure setbacks. And I just wanted to run that through the commission, just to make sure we have your blessing to allow this resident to temporarily occupy the mobile home on the property.
Aaron, do you have a sense of what level of remediation is necessary?
It's not building repairs, it's cleaning and removal of materials in the home.
So are they a hoarder? I mean, is that part?
More or less, yes.
Yeah.
Do we need to make a motion and approve it?
Sure.
Okay.
Aaron, are you set up to 2 years? Are you proposing that they're going to be in?
I'm recommending that we allow this for 30 days, which is, this is an order to, the occupant is under order to remediate the property and has every intention, I believe, of trying to resume occupancy in the building. So they are cooperating.
But it has been deemed a health hazard.
Yes, an order was issued today from the health director. Yes.
So should we just call them applicant X for the sake of?
Sure. Just to author, yeah, just to, I mean, and I guess a formal motion is probably not necessary.
Well,
I wanted to bring it to your attention that it is allowed by the commission. It's sort of a sensitive.
So will it come to our attention again if this is not, solved within 30 days?
Right. And then I'll bring it back to you if we need an extension. Yep.
All right.
But just in case, that I wanted to bring it to your attention in case neighbors or we receive complaints on that.
Thank you.
I'll make a quick motion, shooting from the hip, that the commission approve the placement and habitation of a mobile home for a period not to exceed 30 days in order to address issues that have been identified by the health department. Okay, can I get a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Jamie Stein?
Second.
Oh, Frank, just a minute late. Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Here.
thank you, sir. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
thank you, sir.
Thank
Scott
you.
Edmond,
Yes.
Sean Cosgrove,
Yes.
and I will also vote yes. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Aaron, one thing quickly along the same lines, I've had a couple folks that I know in town who live in Westlake Avenue. And they've been asking about the project that's at the end of Westlake on Route 1 on Boston Post, and about how it's apparently been delayed for a long time in construction. Is kind of mid-construction, and they haven't been taking care of the grass or anything around there. I told them I didn't think there was anything that really the town could do about that, but I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, we've had, and George might be able to give us an update. You were out there fairly recently on that property, George. I believe he's defaulted on the mortgage or the loan on the property. The work is not completely done. We've had some blight complaints and drainage situations on there. Do you have any idea of them moving forward, George?
The owner developer of the property is fighting with the mortgagors. I think there's more than one. Several of them are trying to foreclose, but he's resisting that. He's trying to find new investors and or buyers for the property. I met with somebody actually last week who was apparently interested, but whether that's going to go anywhere is pretty hard to tell. The property has been probably overdeveloped for the market by a long shot. And we're hoping that somebody can find some kind of solution. I think eventually it's going to end up being foreclosed. Apparently the taxes have been paid, so the town can't really move on it as long as there's no kind of blight. I think the police requested that they clean the site up a little bit and eliminate any kind of attractive nuisance elements that I think neighbors were worried about. People might want to, like, trying to squat in the property, and I think they took some measures to secure the buildings so that people couldn't get into them. But it's been unresolved for a while, and until the owner is willing to settle for probably a pretty significant loss, it's probably not gonna much gonna happen there. It's unfortunate, but that's as much as I know.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it is a shame.
I had a chance to review the minutes and they appear to be substantially correct. Would someone like to make a motion to?
Mr.
approve
Chairman,
minutes?
if I may,
Sure.
I am listed as present. I was unable to attend due to power failure.
Got it.
Oh, that's right.
Please note
Also,
the minutes that
One other
Richard
little
was in the
detail,
dark.
I think Mr. Yurzinski was not there, so he could not have read the legal notice. I think Scott, did you read it?
I don't think so.
Sean?
No, you
Somebody.
read it. I don't remember.
read it.
I don't think he was there. Oh,
Frank did?
it.
Oh,
That one's fun, Frank.
okay, I'll note that. Thanks.
Thank you. With the noted corrections, would someone like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Make motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
All in favor, just raise your hand. I'm fine with that now. We got a visual, unanimous.
I'll
Thank you very much.
abstain.
You'll abstain. Okay. So
What's the
much
hand
for
motion for that? Is that this?
abstain is, yeah, it's this. I'm not, no. It's yet like this. This is the heart. With no further business before the Planning and Zoning Commission, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Thank you. And
Second,
Scott.
second,
Okay.
third,
Nice
fourth.
to see you guys, and we will see you on the 4th. All in favor of adjourning, raise your hand.
Thank you.
Like,
Take care.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Okay, you too.
Night.
Bye.